Let's get started. So, welcome to All's Talks. My name is Brian, and I'm here with Susie, and we both work for the Alzheimer's Association 24/7 Helpline. Susie's one of our helpline agents, and I'm one of the care consultants here. So when you call our 800 number, 1-800-272-3900, which is 24/7, you will get someone like Susie answering the phone, and the helpline agents do a lot of information and referrals, and they cover a lot of different areas. And then my level is the care consultant, and we are all the master's level counselors and social workers. So we have a really nice team approach that we do when you call us here on the helpline. So again, welcome to All's Talks. We're really happy to see everyone here. And Susie, why don't you get us started by telling everyone what brought you to the Alzheimer's Association in the first place?
Absolutely, my pleasure. So, Brian, I got involved with the Alzheimer's Association, unfortunately, back in 1997, when my mom started showing signs of dementia, signs of behavioral changes that were not normal. She was only 50 years old when she first started with dementia-like symptoms. So my first thought was, it was very frightening and fear of what was going to happen. But unfortunately, we did receive the terrifying news that she was diagnosed with vascular dementia. So that was back in 1994. I started getting more involved with the Alzheimer's Association because, to tell the truth, I had no idea what was happening. I had no clue what this diagnosis meant. And so I needed to get more involved. I needed to get more educated about the disease, about what are we going to do next. So looking back, I spent so many of those years in grief over the disease, taking her away little by little. But the support that I received after reaching out to the Alzheimer's Association was so encouraged. It was an encouragement, and the support and the educational programs helped me to know what to expect. And so that's how my journey started. My mom passed away at age 72. So it was a long goodbye. But, I'm just grateful that I was able to get involved with the Alzheimer's Association and be able to help her through, with her care.
Yeah. Wow, turned such a difficult situation into something where you're now helping others going through similar things, which is really beautiful, and you're bringing a lot of great experience. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, well, my journey probably has a less personal, route. I kind of started in like, couples and family counseling and trauma and things like that. That's kind of where I began, and kind of over time started absorbing a lot of different knowledge and experience with working with people with dementia and families who are looking after those who are living with dementia. My wife specializes in this, and so I kind of acquired a lot of this from her, and I had my own experience where I was helping a family friend who had severe Alzheimer's, kind of functioning like an in-home caregiver, really. And there was a lot of things I had to figure out on the fly. And, as I think a lot of people experience, no person is the same. And so kind of having to really figure things out on the fly was something that I did. And, eventually I had some other people who I used to work with in my previous jobs that worked at the Alzheimer's Association told me about it. I saw this opportunity and I was very much drawn to it. Definitely have a passion for working with those living with Alzheimer's and their families, caregivers, loved ones. I kind of feel to an extent, they're a forgotten crowd sometimes. And so it's really nice to be able to kind of meet people in those experiences that they're living in. So yeah, it's been a nice journey to get here, and I've loved working with all of you, this whole time I've been here. Susie, tell us a bit about, as a call comes through to you first, what are common scenarios, questions, common calls that you typically get?
That's a very good question, Brian, and thank you for bringing this up because one of the most common questions or the reasons why people reach out to us is because of the behavioral symptoms. Many people find behavioral changes like anxiety, like agitation, aggression, hallucinations. There's just this type of behaviors, and we all know that a lot of times these behaviors can be due to the disease progression, but many times people don't know that can also be due to risk factors that are affecting the person. So those are the most common calls that I get on a daily basis. And so, some people are reaching out to the 24/7 helpline for the first time. Yeah. And many other caregivers are reaching out because they are at their end with and need the support, need the emotional support, and need help on how to cope with those behaviors. And so that's where we come in. We try to educate them, we try to encourage them to a lot of times, if we look at the definition of a caregiver, it is defined as to watch over, be responsible for. That doesn't even begin to describe the challenges a caregiver faces. So it is kind of like a roller coaster of emotions, and the caregiver's responsibilities are so enormous, and caregivers will face mental and physical challenges if they don't reach out for help. So, hallucinations is one of the most common question. What do I do? How do I handle this?
No one's prepared for that.
Nobody's prepared. Exactly. So those are the things that, we can help our caregivers or our callers to kind of provide them with some kind of information and direction. It will be important to also get involved, getting involved with a support group, with an educational program that can provide them with caregiver tools and strategies so they can be able to cope with those behaviors.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting whenever anyone asks, like, what kind of scenarios do you guys deal with and things like that. I mean, without exaggeration, there's hundreds of things, and whether that's something that feels very small or whether that's something that feels extremely overbearing and overwhelming. I mean, and everything in between, and we deal with all of that. And like you, I think a very common one is the difficult behaviors ones. And honestly, it's something that I don't want to say enjoy, but I do. I enjoy really helping people with those things. And I don't enjoy that they're having to go through that, but I really love being able to kind of meet people in those places. And, those difficult behaviors, whether that's a hallucination type thing or whether that's, aggression or agitation or just severe confusion, it's really tough and no one's really ready for it. And so it's one of those things that I really love when people invite us into those moments with them to kind of help them figure it out. And, I kind of look at it like there's a lot of layers to people, and a lot of times there are these difficult behaviors are fear responses. Someone doesn't really know what's going on, or they're confused about something, or they're scared. And so everyone has that natural fight or flight that kicks in. And, I think that a lot of these challenging behaviors are that. And, for us to kind of be able to talk through those with people, I think just like you all, we really value the callers as the experts on their loved ones. And, we can bring our expertise with dementia and with Alzheimer's to that and put our heads together and kind of explore what works in the past, what things have helped, who are the people who are really great at being able to work with this person, who are the ones that they listen to often. I mean, we can kind of peel a lot of those layers back and dissect it.
Absolutely.
So, kind of, Oh, go ahead.
You know, I'm sorry, but I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
and also, I mean, you were saying, you know, we can provide them with some tools on
Yeah.
how to cope with those behaviors, but you know, sometimes we need to remind them also that sometimes one tip or one strategy can work one day and the next day
Yes.
will not work. In regards of the hallucinations, those type of behaviors can also become unsafe.
Yeah.
Can you tell me or can you share with us, you know, when those hallucinations are an unsafe
Yeah.
behavior?
That's a great question, because you're right, it can become that. And if someone is hallucinating something, or they have extreme paranoia, or they are very confused about something, maybe not recognize their loved one, their tendency, I need to protect myself. So do I need to fight this person? Do I need to get out of here? And sometimes that can lead to wandering. Sometimes that can lead to aggressive behavior. And so when we can kind of help a person figure out, how do I communicate to my loved one in that moment? Is that a therapeutic fib? Do I have to join their reality and kind of improv
Mhm.
with what's going on? What does that look like? And for us to kind of be able to dissect that with people, so that we can kind of get it at that point before it turns into something that's a safety issue.
Absolutely. I think that's so important that, you know, to kind of figure out what is triggering this
Yeah.
behavior
Yeah.
and then just take it from there.
Yeah. And you have
Mhm.
a really good point that something might work one day and then not the next day. And so, I really kind of look at this as, we're developing tools, and we're going to kind of experiment with things and see what works and what doesn't work. And the classic principle of dementia caregiving is figure out what works and do more of it. And so we really kind of help people figure out what those are, arm them with a bag of tools that they can use. And they may try something and it fails, and they may try the other thing and that's the thing that worked. And so, yeah, I think that's why there is such an important need for the collaborative process that we do when people call in. And of course, we have our things that are best practice that people can do, that we find that research shows works, and we kind of mix that with what people know about their loved ones.
Mhm.
What's kind of an example of like a difficult behavior thing, that you've seen, that a common call that we get?
Absolutely. You know, there's so many people that reach out at the moment where their loved ones are not recognizing them.
Mm,
And there have been several of times where people call and they're on crisis.
yeah.
And either they're locked in a closet
Yeah.
because their loved one is outside of that door, not recognizing them and waiting
Yeah.
for them to attack. I This type of calls are, you need to call before this behavior gets worse.
Mm,
You know, we can, a lot of times the behavior the behavior starts to surface. And so before it gets worse like this, like when you have to hide in a room because
yeah.
your loved one is, you know, he's outside waiting for you, he doesn't know who you are. You know, those kind of behaviors, they need to get normalized
Yeah.
before they get to this point. So those are the calls that sometimes I have gotten, where or where the person with living with dementia walked out of a house because they don't know where they
Mm,
are,
hmm.
and they are looking for their home, and they want to go home, and they want to go with their loved ones. And so they walked out of their home, and the caregiver doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so those are the type of calls that on a daily basis we receive.
Yeah.
And so
And we
I'm
want
grateful.
everyone to call us for those, where when you're in that crisis, you're not alone. I mean, we're
Absolutely.
here, we're 24/7. There's someone here at 3 a.m. who's very eager to help support in those situations. And so whenever you guys out there are feeling that, definitely reach out. I mean, these are real things that happen, and not everything has to be the crisis thing. There's other things like bathing. Someone's having a difficult time taking a shower or a bath, and we can kind of figure out, what is it? Is it the water temperature, the air temperature? Is it a modesty type thing? Is it who's the one doing it? Is it, the fact that someone has to help them with something that they've done since they were a child? All of these layered things that come into it. And that, and even stuff like how do we navigate finances here, and getting in touch with legal
Mhm.
services, or support groups, and our programs at the Alzheimer's Association. There's so much that we love to help people with. And Susie, what would you say to people who are kind of maybe hesitant to call us? What would you tell them?
Absolutely. I think either, whether you need information about the disease, whether you are a person that is exhibiting signs of Alzheimer's or dementia, whether you are a caregiver, whether you are a professional out there that, is trying to take care of your patients, we are here to provide you with information, referral. Um, you don't have to experience all of this on your own. While the diagnosis is devastating at any age, we know how difficult this can be.
Yeah.
So, we encourage people, we encourage you to reach out. Don't wait to the last minute when everything is a chaos. But that's what we are here for. We are here to provide you with information, direction. Either you need to locate a local resource, such as a doctor, a adult daycare center, and in-home care services, any kind of information that you're looking for, that's what we are here for.
Absolutely.
So there's no need for you all to go through this on your own.
Yeah.
We get it. We understand where you are. We can provide you with great tools.
Definitely.
And connect you with wonderful people just like you, Brian, because as a dementia expert consultants, you all do such a good job, and you are our second level of support. And I am so grateful that we have this service, and our services are at no charge.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Well, and you do absolutely, and you do amazing work as well. I love when we kind of both will talk to someone, and you've started something, and I'll come in and finish something else, and it's a great team we've got here. And I think you're right. I think the biggest thing is people need to know that you're not alone, because caregiving sometimes feels very isolating, and you do feel like you're by yourself, and you're feeling like I'm not having a lot of stimulating conversations as much, and I feel very stressed. And the idea of caregiving is your brain is on 24/7, or whenever you're with that person, and your ear is open. Do they need me? Are they calling for me? Did they fall? You're constantly watching something. Your vigilance is just always, it's a hyper vigilance that's constantly happening, and that is something that really takes a toll on the body and on the mind. And so to be able to call us and to talk through that, and to figure out what's going to help in that, what's going to make it a little bit more bearable, what self-care things do we need to put in place to kind of help with this, because that idea of 24/7 hypervigilance is something that is so exhausting, and a lot of people don't realize that that's going on because their focus is completely on their loved one. And so we definitely encourage people to reach out in those moments, or for anything that you need. We're happy to support here for sure.
Absolutely. I think that people need to know that caring for someone with dementia is not an easy task.
Yeah.
It takes a huge toll on the caregiver, on everyone. It doesn't affect, the disease is not affecting just the person living with dementia. It affects everyone around that person. Yep. And so we are here to help you navigate through whatever difficult decision that you face at every stage of the disease. That's our job. We are here for you, and we get it. And you will be able to talk to people that are trained and that are, have a huge knowledge about this, about Alzheimer's or any other type of dementia. So
that's
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of a cliche, but there's not really a playbook for this. It's kind of like there's a lot of research out, and a lot of things that talk about what works best. And the sad reality is that there isn't one way to do things. And that is something, that's why we exist, to help people navigate their own situation. We are writing their playbooks with them. And because the next person, that the one that they knew 5 years ago that had Alzheimer's looks completely different than their mom. And so let's write the playbook for your mom, and let's come up with the strategies together, and let's develop a care team and look at care options, or all of those things.
I
You
love
know,
that.
yeah, and you all do such a good job with that. And like I said, I love partnering together to help. I know we have to wrap here in a second, but is there any other thoughts that you wanted to talk about here today, Susie?
I think I just want to invite everyone just to reach out.
Yeah.
Again, the Alzheimer's Association is available for you 24 hours a day. Um, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yep.
And so we are here for you. Reach out at any time, day or night.
Yes. Yeah, and we can't reiterate enough, 24/7, 365. We're open on holidays. Sometimes that is a tough time when people are seeing family members and they're kind of like, what am I supposed to do right now? Someone is here. So definitely, I echo what Susie's saying. You guys are not alone. We are here with you to support. We know that you are on the front lines of this. We know that caregiving never stops, and so we never stop with our support here. And so reach out 24/7. The number should be there with you, but it's 1-800-272-3900. That is the 24/7 helpline for the Alzheimer's Association. And again, we really invite you to reach out, encourage it, and we would love to hear from you and hope to talk to you soon. And definitely wanted to thank everyone for joining us today on this Alz Talks. And it's definitely a pleasure talking about the work that we do, and always a pleasure seeing you, Susie, and kind of talking about the passions that we have for the work that we do. You do an amazing job.
Same with you, Brian. Every time I talk to you, it's just a pleasure talking to you, and you're so helpful, and we are grateful to have our dementia expert consultants that can support our job as well. So thank you so much.
Hey, right back at you. And thank you again for everyone for joining, and we hope to talk to you soon. And you all take care of yourselves.